Hi, I'm Kelly Thomas. Welcome to Ingenious Baby, a show where we interview leading experts about the latest research, science, and educational activities to help you help your child reach their full potential.
Welcome to this.
Today, we're here with Christina Lindgren and Dieserud, who are the founders of a baby opera and musical theater company for children under the age of 3. They just flew in from Norway for the American premiere of their performance, Up in the Mountains, and are here to tell us how they engage babies with music and art. They will also provide a little insight on why Norway has some of the happiest and smartest children in the world. Thank you so much for being here. What did you find challenging about creating something to appeal to this young audience?
We knew that we had to keep it simple, and simple not in the sense of complexity, but in the sense of clarity. When you make a movement, you have to sort of be very aware of how you begin it and where you end it. So you're not just, because this is too clumsy. It has to be very distinct, clear, and with an intention, very clear intention. So as a performer, it is quite challenging because you have nothing to hide behind. You have to be very sharp all the time, actually.
Present.
You had mentioned that in Europe, it's very popular to have performances targeted at 0 to 3. Why do you think that is?
So when the human rights for children was introduced, and it said that children can have a right for culture, for education, then it was also, they start to say, but what does it mean that children can have a right for culture? And what is a child? Is a child actually from the day it's born, or even earlier? But it's so they have the rights for culture from the day they're born. So that's when they start to make performances for this age group. And I think that in Europe, performances for this age group is just a sign that people are maybe have another view on their children, that there are human beings from the very beginning, and they have an emotional and spiritual and intellectual capacity.
So tell us more about the specific production here, Up in the Mountains.
It's actually based on a very well-known European English fairy tale. And so we took out parts of that, and the composer, we got a recording from in an Asian language of this fairy tale, and the composer took fragments of this fairy tale recording and created a new story based on that. But it's not a story that is to be understood through language, because no one understands the language, but it's still told as if everyone would understand, but not through the words.
Is that because of the age group that it's targeting? Is that the idea behind it?
Yes, but also we're interested in exploring other ways that theatre can communicate. And we believe that theatre can communicate not only with words and understanding the logic and the story, but also through movement, through gestures, through mimic and the facial expression.
So the theater, the performance itself is intended to bring the adult and the child, kind of for both of them, it's intended, the thought behind it.
Absolutely. We reach out for the grown-ups also. That is very important for us, because we didn't want to make anything where the adults are looking down on the youngsters and trying to teach them something. We wanted them to be on the same level and be curious and explore for themselves. Yeah, so they can leave the child a bit alone in their own experience.
How do you feel like culture impacts their intelligence and development of the child at that age?
I think that I think maybe the strongest benefit is that the grown-ups see that the children have this ability. They see that I don't have to give them only food and drink, but we can have a cultural experience together. and they can perceive art, and they are open for this. So when they, I think that's the primary outcome of this, that the adults actually experience the children as intellectual and spiritual persons.
So that leads me to another question. So I read, these articles, the U.S. News and World Report, Norway is one of the smartest countries with the highest per capita of geniuses. You also read stories where Norway has some of the happiest children in the world. Why do you think this is? I mean, what is different about the way that you approach parenting or child development that we might not be doing someplace else?
The playground, and that we have so much nature, and there is maybe a bigger sense of freedom physically, because we have all this space, and maybe they have more space also to be by themselves, because that is very important.
And also the whole politics about, because the parents, the mother or the father, they're allowed to share the what do you call the parental leave, and it's also supported from the state, 1 year parental leave.
Wow. So then, in terms of the parent engagement, though, do you think it's important for parents to sing to their children?
Definitely.
What if they can't sing well?
Everybody can sing.
And also,
no, the freedom to express yourself. It can be any kind of expression.
Also, I think that we should also expand what is music. Everything sound in itself is interesting for the children, and the children is very focused on what they're hearing. Just play with the sounds you have that we're surrounded with. Is stimulating and making them. It can be a fun game. It doesn't have to be simple. It can be very complicated and complex music. Children can enjoy that as well.
They like what you like.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do, because they want to share that experience with you.
So it's all about sharing experiences.
Yeah, it's all
in the
about
beginning.
sharing.
And that's what basically your performance is all about, making sure that like you said, everyone's on the same level and everyone's kind of sharing.
That's also why we have made tents. In 2 of our performances we have tents, and up in the mountains we have then just 45 people in the audience to make this intimate atmosphere. And the tent is to secure that we have sort of control of all the senses, and that nothing can interrupt or...
It's like sitting around a bonfire.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yes. So we're together and focused and concentrated. Yeah. They also sense that something extraordinary is going to happen, something not every day. They sense that this is something special.
Thank you again for taking the time to talk with me and learn about your vision and what you're doing. And I'm really excited to come see it.
Great, thank you.